Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. If you hear a sound in the background, I apologize. That's my heater turning on. Unfortunately, here it is almost the end of April or past mid-April and my heater is still turning on. Hope you're all doing well today. Thank God it's Friday. Hey, listen, I know I've covered this several times, but this is an update and not an update in a good way. All right, so I want to make sure I keep you guys informed of this. That way, if you're not seeing it from your news sources, you can at least hear it from here, and then you can do a little additional research on your own, okay? I also have another quick article that I wanted to go over that has nothing to do with this, but let's get through this one first. However, let me start off by giving a shout out to Randy, Melanie, and Nicole. Thank you guys very much for sending me over a coffee. I truly do appreciate it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do understand that it's difficult nowadays to earn a buck, all right, or to make a buck. So I do thank you very much, and I truly do appreciate it, and I want you to know that I mean that. So thank you guys again very much. So ladies and gentlemen, let's just go ahead and get right into this. The title of this is Pig Shorts Get Slaughtered. Pork prices are soaring around the globe. And it says here, 1 month after we reported that U.S. federal agents seized 1 million pounds or 454 metric tons of pork smuggled from China to the same port amid growing fears that meat could contain traces of the African swine fever virus that has ravaged the Asian country's hog herd and which has sent pork prices soaring. The pig panic has gone global, and as Bloomberg writes, as a result of the crippling virus that has decimated China's hog industry, everything from barbecue to chorizo and German bratwurst will be sharply more expensive in the coming months, with Chinese pigs getting slaughtered left and right to contain the African swine fever. So are pork shorts as meat processors around the world scramble to sell more pork to China to make up for sharp shortages of China's most popular protein. Ladies and gentlemen, remember the last video I made where they specified like 2 or 3 times that the African swine fever and the pork would not affect humans, and they kept saying that in that article, and I stopped and I said, I wonder why they keep saying that this pork is not harmful to humans, and I was wondering if they were going to feed that pork to humans. Well, here you go, where it says here that 1 million pounds of pork was seized because it was tainted with the African swine fever, and that pork came from China. So they sold us this tainted pork knowing that it was tainted with this contaminant, and they still ended up selling it to us. So I guess it's a good thing that we do have some kind of authorities at the port that check these products before they come in, but I can only imagine that they can't check everything. All right, so carrying on. The consequences is tighter supplies in the US and Europe, which is pushing up prices. And as the disease continues to spread throughout China, the world's largest producer and consumer, the trend will only get worse. Case in point, US retail prices for boneless hams hit $4.31 per pound in March, the highest since 2015. In the European Union, wholesale pig prices have climbed 16% in 2 months, while lean hog futures traded on the CME are higher by 32% since February lows. Wow. But none of this compares to what is about to hit China, where consumers are bracing for a shock as pork prices may surge more than 70% in the second half of this year, an agriculture ministry official said this week. As the country's pork output plunges as much as 30% this year. Wow. According to Rabobank, and according to Rabobank, they're the ones that said that pork output can plunge as much as 30% this year and could spike Chinese consumer price index in the coming months, sharply limiting the POBC's, the People's Bank of China's, effort to stimulate and boost liquidity in the world's growth dynamo and curbing China's latest attempt to reflate the world and boost global economic growth. Some meat that used to go to the US is now going to China because it pays more. Wow. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I remember a community member asking, how is this going to affect prices here in the US when this is happening in China? And I remember explaining that if China has a shortage of pork, they're going to try to get that pork, all right? They're going to try to get that pork from other countries. And since they're getting it from other countries, that's going to put a strain on the supply of that country itself, making pork prices in said country higher. And that's exactly what's happening. All right. Far from limited to just pigs, the virus which has upended China's meat industry will have devastating for meat lovers and pork shorts, and far-reaching effects from pushing up food prices to increasing demand for other meats like chicken and beef. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, this pork crisis that's going on, it's not only going to affect the price of pork, it's going to affect the price of all other proteins. All right, because when there's a shortage in one thing, people will run to the next best thing, and it's going to end up increasing the prices in those things as well. Seeking to front-run some of the price surges, China recently made its biggest ever weekly purchase of U.S. pork as shares of Brazil's JBS, the world's largest meat producer, rallied 8% this week. African swine fever has sparked a rally across global protein stocks, but it's not too late to buy. Morgan Stanley analysts led by Raphael Shin said in a report to clients this week, "We think the rally has only begun and that the long-term impacts of ASF are still not understood. While this is terrible news for pork consumers, it's some long overdue good news for embattled U.S. farmers who will be able to sell their hogs for higher prices as a result of the soaring demand. And while producers may start to breed more livestock, the process takes time. It will be a good moment for producers," said, I'll say just Didier, the director of French Pork Council in a pork. I don't understand how they're trying to spin this into a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. I mean, our pork farmers here in the U.S. are already devastated from all of the pigs that they've lost to the floods and to whatever other reasons they've lost all these pigs. All right, so it's not going to be the only people that, in my opinion, the only people that this is going to be a really good thing for is going to be the people that are trading pork on the market. All right, but the farmers, they may be able to sell their pork. Now, this is my opinion. The farmers may be able to sell their pork at a higher price, but this is just a lifeline for them. This is not going to get them from under the water that they're in right now, just trying to stay alive and take another breath. All right, because our farmers have been devastated this year so far, and we're only into April. All right, so finally, it's not just China that's grappling with the spread of the disease. Pork prices may soar even more as fears spread in Europe that the virus, which was detected in wild boars in Belgium last year, could infect domestic hogs in major exporters, such as France and Germany. France is in the process of building a fence running dozens of kilometers near the border in an effort to contain the disease. Unfortunately, in a stark comparison to similar fortifications undertaken during World War II, this venture will fail spectacularly. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I think that the big thing for us to take away from this story is this part right here, where consumers are bracing for a shock as pork prices may surge more than 70% in the second half of this year. Okay, So, and I believe this. I believe that pork prices are going to rise substantially, all right, just because of what's going on in China alone, not given the devastation that we've faced here in the U.S. With all of the hogs that have been killed because of floods. And in addition to that, all of the cows that have been killed also, it's going to end up making the price that we pay for protein a lot higher than what we are used to. Definitely it's going to be a lot higher. I think this is just the beginning, and I'm not happy about this, but we have to face reality. All right, we have to face reality. And the good thing is the only good news that can come out of this, ladies and gentlemen, is that at least now you know, and you can at least do what you can do to prepare the best that you can prepare. Okay, so the first thing that you need in order to tackle on a problem is information. All right, you have some of the information now. Please go do more research on your own and then decide for yourselves what is the best thing for you to do. Me, I still have more room in my freezer. All right, and I might just be using up that room and putting some more meat in there. Okay, all right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was this article. This next article, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to go ahead and leave the link to both of these articles so you guys can go and take a look at them if you like. But this next article I just thought is very interesting. All right, it has to do with the weakening of the Earth's magnetic field. Right, and this here says the weakening of the Earth's magnetic field has greatly accelerated, and that could have apocalyptic implications for all of us. All right, and it says here, Earth's magnetic field is getting significantly weaker. The magnetic North Pole is shifting at an accelerated pace, and scientists readily admit that a sudden pole shift could potentially cost trillions of dollars in damage. Not only that, I think that a sudden pole shift would be cataclysmic. All right, I think that it would cost, I don't even want to say how many lives. It would cost probably in the billions of lives, right, if something like that happens suddenly. Today, most of us take the protection provided by Earth's magnetic field completely for granted. It is essentially a colossal force field which surrounds our planet and makes life possible. And even with such protection, a giant solar storm could still potentially hit our planet and completely fry our power grid. But as our magnetic field continues to get weaker and weaker, even much smaller solar storms will have the potential to be cataclysmic. And once the magnetic field gets weak enough, we will be facing much higher problems. As you will see below, if enough solar radiation starts reaching our planet, none of us will survive. And that's true. You know, our atmosphere is without our atmosphere, there will be no life on Earth. All right. Same thing with Mars. It's been reported that Mars at one time had an atmosphere, and something happened where it lost its atmosphere, and now it's pretty much a wasteland. All right, without an atmosphere. So let's carry on. Previously, scientists had told us that the magnetic field was weakening by about 5% every 100 years. But now we are being told that data collected from the Swarm satellite indicate that the rate of decay is about 5% per decade. Wow, so they were off by I don't know how many percentage. 1,000%. They were off by about 1,000% as far as the time that it was taken. It's well established that in modern times, the axial dipole component of Earth's main magnetic field is decreasing by approximately 5% per century. Recently, scientists using Swarm satellite announced that their data indicated a decay rate 10 times faster, or 5% per decade. So yeah, they were only off by about 1,000% in their initial analysis. In case you didn't quite get that, 5% per decade is 10 times faster than 5% per century. If the rate of decay continues at this pace, or if it speeds up even more, we could be looking at a mass extinction event that is beyond what most people would dare to imagine. As more solar radiation reaches Earth, we would expect to see a rise in cancer rates. And this is something that even National Geographic has acknowledged. And I did read something. I read something. I think it was yesterday, where it said that by the year 2050 or something like that, that 1 in 3 people would be getting cancer in their lifetimes. I don't know if it has anything to do with this. Of course, we are already seeing this. Cancer rates have been rising all over the world, and if you live in the United States, there's a 1 in 3 chance that you will get cancer. Maybe it was an excerpt from this, because that's exactly what I remember reading. If you live in the United States, there is a 1 in 3 chance that you will get cancer in your lifetime. But as the magnetic field continues to weaken, things will get worse, a lot worse. The weaker the magnetic field gets, the amount of solar radiation that will reach us will rise, and eventually it would get so bad that the entire human race would be in jeopardy. The following comes from futurism. Radiation and cosmic rays are a real concern for NASA, especially when it comes to long-term spaceflight. Astronauts on a mission to Mars could undergo up to 1,000 times the exposure of radiation and cosmic rays that they would get on Earth. If Earth's magnetic field disappeared, the entire human race and all of life, in fact, would be in serious danger. Cosmic rays would bombard our bodies and could even damage our DNA, increasing worldwide risk of cancer and other illnesses. The flashes of light visible when we close our eyes would be the least of our problems. And even if some of us found a way to survive underground for a while, we still wouldn't be able to survive, because solar winds would strip away our planet's atmosphere and oceans. Without Earth's magnetic field, solar winds, streams of electrically charged particles that flow from the sun, would strip away the planet's atmosphere and oceans. As such, Earth's magnetic field help to make life on the planet possible, researchers have said. So can such a scenario actually happen? Well, some scientists are saying that our magnetic field could be gone in as little as 500 years, but they are telling us not to worry, because Earth's magnetic pole will flip and things will eventually return to normal. The magnetic field surrounding Earth is weakening, and scientists say it could be gone in as little as 500 years. All right, so that's what I'm going to read on this article, ladies and gentlemen, because it is, oh, you know what? It's not that long. Here we go. Let's see here. It says, most experts also believe that the pole flip is still a long ways away. But what everybody agrees on is that the magnetic pole is moving towards Russia at an accelerated speed. And it is moving a lot faster, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if a few weeks or months ago you guys ever remember hearing something in the news or reading something in an article somewhere saying that airlines were having to recalibrate their GPSs because the magnetic field was moving so fast that they were having to redo it like every 3 days to a week or something like that. And it says here, but what's really catching attention is the acceleration and movement. Around the mid-1990s, the pole suddenly sped up its movement from just over 9 miles or 15 kilometers a year to 34 miles or 55 kilometers annually. So it's an increase of almost 300% above the 9 miles. All right, so 4 times 9, that's a 300% increase. As of last year, the pole careened over the international date line toward the eastern hemisphere. And earlier this year, authorities had to issue an emergency update to, Earlier this year, authorities had to issue an emergency update to global positioning systems because the magnetic field is changing so rapidly. The most recent version of the model came out in 2015 and was supposed to last till 2020. But the magnetic field is changing so rapidly that researchers have to fix the model now. The error is increasing all the time, says Arnaud Chiliat, a geomagnetist at the University of Colorado Boulder and the National and NOAA. I know that I must sound like a broken record by now, but this is important. Our planet is being increasingly unstable, and we are seeing things happen that we have never seen before. Everyone agrees that the Earth's magnetic field is rapidly getting weaker and that it is making us more vulnerable with each passing day. Most of the experts are trying to put a happy face on things and are assuring us that everything is going to be okay. Hopefully they are right, but I wouldn't count on it. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for this article. So I ended up reading the whole thing. I'm going to leave the link for both of these, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to take a look at it. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and try to sign off quickly. All right, so that this won't be too long of a video. I should have probably broken this up into 2 videos, but I didn't want to, start all over again after I started. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, hey, thank you very much for joining in today. I truly hope that you got something out of this, ladies and gentlemen. Please do your own research. It's not all doom and gloom. Okay, it is not all doom and gloom. All right, we have been blessed with time. All right, the good Lord has given us time, and hopefully He has given us enough information that we can use our critical thinking, and use our own free will to decide what is best for us to do. All right, to take care of our families and to take care of ourselves for the times that are coming. All right, only because tough times are coming doesn't mean that we can't make it through anything. All right, we've been around for thousands of years, and I'm sure we'll be around for a bit longer. However, make sure that you love the people that you love. Love on the people that you love. All right, make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them every day. All right, and make sure that you put your petty differences aside and remember that we're all humans and that we're all in this together. All right, we are all in this together, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what our differences are. I am very certain that I have probably differences in opinions than a lot of the people in our community. But what makes us special is that we can agree to disagree on some things, and we can remember that we are all in this together. All right, because when it comes down to it, we are all we have, right? We are all we have. So we have to take care of each other. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it, I'm going to call that for today. On Saturday, all right, so for your tomorrow, we're going to have our live chat at 8 a.m. Alaska time, all right, Saturday. I changed it from Sunday to Saturday this week in order to observe Easter on Sunday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so if you could join in, it'd be great. If you've never joined in on a live chat before, go ahead and join in. It's a lot of fun, and I always have a great time during our live chats, especially when we do giveaways, all right? But I always have a great time, and I always enjoy seeing you guys there. All right, so having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a great day today. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.